entitled players in the WNBA just can't seem to understand is you get what you put in, and right now you are getting exactly what you deserve.
Wilson is throwing a tantrum over Caitlin Clark potentially moving to Europe. Asia thinks she's the biggest draw, and Deeser hijacked the move, making sure Caitlin stays in the WNBA. A huge turn of events from Asia, who degraded Caitlin on being privileged. She's finally starting to realize the effect Caitlin has had on the WNBA. Though the entitlement is insane, Asia believes she's a star. She should be getting the attention when it's Caitlin who significantly changed the league.
Don't y'all want a greater profile? Don't y'all want more notoriety? Don't y'all want more?
Let's be real. Before Caitlin Clark, nobody appreciated Asia Wilson. Asia comes across as a nice act, but has shown recently she can be very jealous like the other players in the WNBA. To take the move, she will leave the WNBA in bits, and nobody will be talking about Asia like the years before. Asia knows deep down that she's not a big draw, yet tries to portray it to media because she won the MVP award. Asia, you're not fooling anybody.
Now, Asia Wilson was a more dominating player and deserved to be the MVP, and unanimous.
Such a move to the EuroLeague could have paved the way for other WNBA stars to ponder international opportunities, setting a precedent for future generations of players. However, this promising deal took an unexpected turn when Asia Wilson stepped in to disrupt Clark's plans.
Caitlin is fantastic, and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA. There are women that were worthy of coverage prior to her arriving, and I just will not be silent.
Wilson's interference in the deal wasn't just a minor inconvenience. It was a deliberate attempt to block Clark from seizing the opportunity. Reports suggest that Wilson, fresh off winning the WNBA MVP award, believed that she should be the face of the EuroLeague, not Clark. This wasn't simply about basketball or personal preference. It reflected a deeper issue of competition and rivalry between two of the league's top stars. PP title and status in the WNBA should have made her the top candidate for European teams to pursue. The idea of Clark being chosen over her, despite Wilson's accomplishments, likely felt like a personal insult. Asia's actions seemed to stem from a belief that she has already proven herself as a dominant force in the WNBA, and as such, she should be prioritized for international opportunities. In her mind, Clark, who is still relatively new to the league, hasn't yet earned the right to take the spotlight away from more established players. Yet still, there are some people still believe Caitlin hasn't been targeted this year.
How do you miss an opportunity like that? How do you not capitalize? It doesn't make any sense at all. And playing the politics where, oh, we need to release Asia's shoe first. Oh, no, it's not Caitlin's fault that you haven't done anything for Asia.
This isn't the first time Wilson has found herself in direct competition with Clark over high-profile deals. Previously, Wilson reportedly tried to interfere with Clark's Nike endorsement, aiming to secure the deal for herself. The Nike incident hinted at the growing rivalry between the two players, but the Europe controversy has taken things to another level. By stepping in to block Clark's international opportunity, Wilson has shown just how competitive and personal this opposition has become.
Caitlin Clark's the most valuable, most important person in the WNBA this year, and should have been unanimous rookie.
With this MVP recognition, she likely expected to receive more attention from fans, sponsors, and international teams. The fact that Clark, a relatively new player, was suddenly at the center of conversations about the EuroLeague felt like a slight to Wilson's achievements. Yet, Clark's rapid rise has shifted the narrative in a way that seems unfair to Wilson. Instead of celebrating Wilson's success and treating her as the WNBA's most valuable player, fans and media outlets have focused their attention on Clark. This shift has created a sense of competition that goes beyond the basketball court, with Wilson feeling that she needs to protect her status and prevent Clark from taking opportunities that she believes should belong to her.
Wilson, 28 years old, 1,000 points in the regular season. Why is that not the biggest story out at the moment? Exactly. Why are we talking about Caitlin Clark?
Why exactly? Why when Asia was releasing a shoe were we talking about?
Wilson's attempt to block Clark's Europe deal is not an isolated incident. It reflects a pattern of behavior that has emerged over time. This rivalry can be traced back to an earlier conflict involving a potential endorsement deal with Nike. According to reports, Wilson tried to interfere with Clark's efforts to secure the deal, hoping to position herself as Nike's top WNBA representative instead. While it's not uncommon for athletes to compete for lucrative endorsements, the way this rivalry has played out suggests that Wilson sees Clark as a direct threat to her career. The Nike incident was an early sign of the growing tension between the two players. For Clark, landing a deal with Nike would have been a major accomplishment, cementing her status as one of the top names in basketball. But Wilson, already an established star, wasn't ready to share the spotlight. By attempting to block Clark's Nike deal, Wilson demonstrated that she was willing to go to great lengths to maintain her position. Clark's rapid rise wasn't just a challenge to her position. It was a reminder that the landscape of the WNBA was changing. Instead of embracing this change, Wilson has chosen to compete with Clark for opportunities, leading to a contrast that had become increasingly personal. For Wilson, blocking Clark's Europe deal wasn't just about protecting her own interests. It was about making a statement. She wanted to remind everyone that she is still a force to be reckoned with and that she deserves to be treated as the league's top player. At the heart of this controversy lies a deeper issue: personal jealousy. Wilson's actions suggest that her rivalry with Clark goes beyond professional competition. It's not just about basketball or business deals. It's about the struggle for recognition and relevance in a rapidly changing league. Clark's arrival has disrupted the WNBA's dynamics, and Wilson, who was once at the top, now finds herself competing for attention in ways she never expected.
Who was unanimous MVP, which, by the way, is the first unanimous MVP in the NBA or the WNBA to ever not make the finals, which is something else. Fans are they're gonna share that. It does not mean that we are misogynistic or we're just hating on Asia. No, it's just this is what happens when a team...
Before Clark entered the league, Wilson was already one of the WNBA's brightest stars, earning accolades and endorsements along the way. However, Clark's arrival has shifted the narrative. Suddenly, Clark is the one receiving media attention, endorsement deals, and fan support. This shift has made it difficult for Wilson to enjoy her success without feeling overshadowed by Clark's rise. This jealousy is evident not just in Wilson's actions off the court, but also in the way she talks about Clark. Wilson has made comments suggesting that Clark had an easier path to success, framing her rise as a result of privilege rather than hard work. These comments reflect Wilson's frustration with the way the spotlight has shifted away from her, even though she believes she has earned her place at the top.
Here's the reality. It wasn't what it is. The quality of basketball may have been up to snuff, and you had somebody as popular as Cheryl Swoops, who had her own signature shoe, had to deal with Nike and all of this other stuff. But the bottom line is, very few people...
One of the clearest signs of Caitlin Clark's influence on the WNBA is the sharp decline in viewership when she isn't playing. Clark has become a fan magnet, attracting audiences who may not have previously followed women's basketball. Yet, when she's off the court, the numbers tell a troubling story. Fans tune out and engagement drops. Even with star players like A.A. Wilson still competing, this trend reveals a harsh reality. Clark isn't just a talented player. She has become the lifeblood of the league's growing popularity.
They decide what they want to do. We can point out how wrong it is. We can point out that that's a reality that shouldn't be a reality. But what we can't do is say, this is what matters. Right. That doesn't. When the audience was telling you...
Wilson and other top players have continued to perform at a high level, yet fan interest remains lukewarm. This discrepancy highlights a painful truth for Wilson. Talent alone is not enough to command attention. Clark's unique charisma and style of play have captured fans in a way that Wilson, despite her achievements, has struggled to do. While the league has long had talented players, Clark's arrival injected something different, a sense of excitement that brought in new fans and energized existing ones. Without Clark, it seems that many fans lose interest. Even when other stars like Wilson are playing at the top of their game as the league evolves, it becomes clear that talent alone is not enough to grow the game. Players need to connect with fans, create memorable moments, and generate excitement qualities that Clark possesses in abundance. For Wilson, the realization that Clark is a key driver of fan interest has been difficult to accept, fueling the rivalry between them.
Also need to, I don't know if an apology is warranted to Caitlin Clark or they just need to, in general, do.
The sudden shift in focus toward Clark has disrupted the existing dynamics in the league, leaving some players feeling overlooked and underappreciated. Instead of celebrating Clark's success, these players have expressed frustration, perceiving her achievements as a threat rather than a win for women's basketball as a whole. This resentment has been evident both on and off the court. Clark has become the most fouled player in the WNBA, with opponents targeting her aggressively. While some of this can be attributed to her style of play, it also reflects the growing tension within the league. Players frustrated by Clark's success seem determined to challenge her dominance, even if it means resorting to physical play.
Is amazing in and of herself. She's an incredible basketball player. I think I can say that she's great, and I can say that there are 143 women that helped get the league to this place that she could take it over the top, and it's okay. Like, that's not an affront to anyone.
The resentment toward Clark also speaks to a deeper issue, the difficulty of accepting change. Many players have spent years building their careers only to see Clark arrive and immediately become the face of the league. This rapid shift has been difficult for some to accept, leading to jealousy and criticism. Instead of recognizing the positive impact Clark has had on the league, some players focus on what they perceive as unfair treatment, namely that Clark has received more attention and opportunities than they did when they were coming up.
Agree with it. I thought she would be unanimous. I mean, it's not even close, because I said the most important person in the league is Caitlin Clark and should be a top 5, if not, it should have been a top 3 MVP candidate.
Despite the backlash she faces, Clark has been instrumental in bringing about significant improvements for WNBA players. Her popularity and influence have helped drive changes that benefit the entire league, including the introduction of private jets for player travel and an increase in wages. These developments have made life easier for many players, addressing long-standing complaints about travel conditions and salaries. Without her presence, it's unlikely that the WNBA would have been able to secure the resources necessary to offer these benefits. Yet, despite these contributions, Clark continues to face criticism from within the league. Rather than acknowledging the positive impact she has had, some players focus on their frustrations with her success, fueling the rivalry and resentment toward her. Is hard to ignore. Clark's influence has made life better for the very players who now criticize her. The introduction of private jets and higher wages is a direct result of the increased attention and revenue that Clark has brought to the league. Without her, these improvements might not have been possible. Yet, instead of gratitude, Clark has encountered hostility and resentment, highlighting the complicated dynamics within the WNBA. Wilson's decision to interfere with Clark's Europe deal is perhaps the most telling example of the jealousy and rivalry that exists within the WNBA.
Caitlin, that could be it. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Right from the hole. She's alive.
Wilson's decision to interfere with Clark's Europe deal is perhaps the most telling example of the jealousy and rivalry that exists within the WNBA. By stepping in to block the contract, Wilson made it clear that she sees Clark not just as a competitor, but as a threat to her own legacy. This move wasn't just about protecting Wilson's career. It was about preventing Clark from expanding her influence beyond the WNBA. The Europe deal controversy highlights the challenges Clark faces as she continues to reshape the WNBA. While her influence has brought about positive changes, it has also generated resentment from those who feel threatened by her success. As the WNBA evolves, players like Wilson must find new ways to adapt and thrive. Whether this means embracing the changes Clark has brought or finding her own path forward, Wilson will need to navigate the complexities of competition and collaboration. The opposition may be intense, but one thing is certain. Caitlin Clark will leave a lasting impact on the WNBA, influencing the game and inspiring the next generation of players. Fans and analysts alike will be watching closely to see how her story unfolds, but she's already an amazing talent and a star in the making to many. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.